I'm going to read this in the English language, and at the end of the day, Nana Awuzan will then explain in the local language, in the local dialect. But after this, I have other points to give out. After Nana Awuzan's translation in our local dialect, then comes Lawyer Noku, who will be here to also talk about the boundary and others. We can share boundaries with them. So you start. Do I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The attention of Omanhin and chiefs of the Lower Axim Traditional Council has been drawn to recent pronouncements by Awulae Agyefi Kwame II of Ensan Traditional Council to the effect that the courts have declared his true owner of Lower Axim lands. Pronouncement which have gone viral on social media. We deem it a duty indeed, an obligation to put the record straight. And it is for these reasons that we are convening this morning and have extended invitation to you, the media. To start with, we respectfully invite the general public to disregard those pronouncements as said by Awulae Agyefi Kwame. It is mispresentations or blatant falsehoods. It is true that the Lower Axim Traditional Council and its president have taken action against Awulae Agyefi Kwame II and his Ensan Traditional Council at the High Court, secondly, to seek a declaration that Lower Axim Traditional Council and Ensan Traditional Council are two separate and distant traditional councils or areas, and that there is no legal recognizable traditional council known and called Lower Town Axim Ensan Traditional Area. I am being emphasis on this to let the whole world know that there's no way and there's nothing written in the books of chieftaincy having the name Traditional Council by name Lower Town Axim and Ensan Traditional Council. A lot of people may not know. All the traditional councils are backed by ally, and it is enacted by the parliament. It is the duty of parliament for parliament to make any changes. It is like somebody wanting to register a company. You go to the Register General Department, you mention your company's name, and when it is sensed that someone has already registered, that is never done. They will not allow you. So also the traditional councils, if you want to change your name, you have to route it through your traditional council, from there to the regional house of chiefs, then the national house of chiefs, then to parliament. Such a thing has never been done. So he cannot stand anywhere and say he has. Now, let me move on. Awulae Agyefi Kwame had cast his Ensan Traditional Council to be registered as a company liability by guarantee under the name Lower Town Axim Ensan Traditional Area. Let me ask a simple question. Do you have to register our traditional council as a company liability? Even that alone, Grandpa, can take him to court. But as a peaceful, loving young man, Awulae Attribrukusu, my traditional council, you have sat so long to tolerate what we needed not to tolerate. But now, we need to. Obviously, under the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, it was for this reason that the Lower Axim Traditional Council and its president took action as stated above. The statement of defense filed by the defendant in the cell sheet disclosed no reasonable defense to the claim. Our lawyer therefore applied to the High Court to have the defense struck out and judgment entered for us. That is Lower Axim Traditional Council for all of the reliefs endorsed on the writ. The High Court, however, was of the opinion that the suits had to go through a full trial and would not serve the interests of justice for it to be terminated prematurely. The Court of Appeal also affirmed this decision of the High Court. So, the action is still pending before the High Court secondary for determination. It was on hearing this month, March 26th, and as a stand, has been adjourned to 24th April 2026 for further consideration. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we may ascertain these facts at the registry of the High Court secondary. It is to say that the traditional councils are creatures of statutes as I earlier said, you cannot just come out and say, I have, as the loss is in someone's pocket. The Lower Axim Traditional Council and the Ancestral Traditional Council are two separate and distinct traditional councils. The law established them in the chieftaincy membership of the Regional Houses of Chiefs, Instrument 2020 LI 2409. This LI lists the paramountcies which constitute the various regional houses of chiefs, and the Regulation 16, Section 1H of the LI 2409. It listed Lower Axim. That is to say, Lower Axim Traditional Council. Also under Regulation 16.1M, it is listed and signed, or similarly, in some Traditional Council. We have respect for Awulae Agyefi Kwame II. It is regrettable, however, that someone of his stature, of his caliber, of his age, should engage in such a dispute attempt in the past by Awulae Agyefi Kwame II to accept Lower Axim land has failed miserably. For instance, his attempt to revive a 1970 or 1970 to 1980 suit entitled Nana Ahenata III and others versus Western Regional House of Chiefs, suit number LS number 6/75, was thrown out. Also, the resistance to the processing of the CD forms of Nana Awuza III as the chief of Otopa and the Lower Axim failed at the High Court and on appeal. On appeal court of appeal, seconding. The Court of Appeal judgment was delivered only 17/12/2025. That was just a couple of months ago. Following the decision of the Court of Appeal, Awulae Agyefi Kwame II has instituted yet another action before the High Court to re-litigate matters which have been adjudicated. Incidentally, the suit came on for determination yesterday, 30th, and has been adjourned to 17th of next month. That is April. Awulae Agyefi Kwame II and his ancestral cannot therefore choose to pick which decision they think should apply to them. The loss of the state was not made for him. We would like to state categorically or emphatically that no court has declared and signed to or the Traditional Council as owner of Lower Axim lands. As traditionally authorities, we ought to direct our energies and resources to the progressive development of our communities in terms of provision of educational and health facilities, good drinking water and others, and the creation of jobs for the young or the youth to complement the effort of the central government, rather than engage in needless factionalism and unlawful, useless litigations. It is not in anybody's interest for dust to be thrown in the eyes of the public. Suddenly, Awulae Agyefi cannot tickle himself and laugh. We entreat the general public, therefore, to disregard any pronouncement made by Awulae Agyefi Kwame as regards Lower Axim lands. Thank you all for hearing. Now, what this?